Good day, boys and girls. It's time to relax and listen to your story for today. Your reader is Enna from Hands Across the Sea in partnership with the Early Learners Program and the Ministry of Education in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The title of our story for today is Curious George Visits a Toy Store, and it is written by Margaret and H.A. Ray. So, have you ever heard that word curious? What do you think it means? Did I hear you say eager? Eager to know something? Or some folks would say inquisitive. The cover of our book for today is very attractive. It has a yellow background and there is a monkey sitting on a ball and it is holding a flute in his hand. What do you think will happen at the toy store today? If there is Curious George around, what are some of the things that can happen? Make your predictions. So our title once more, Curious George Visits a Toy Store. And let's move right into our story. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. Today was the opening of a brand new toy store. George and the man with the yellow hat did not want to be late. When they arrived, the line to go inside wound all the way around the corner. When a line is this long, it's not easy for a little monkey to be patient. George sneaked through the crowd. All he wanted was a peek inside. Now, why was the line so long? Because it was the opening of a brand new toy store. I wonder what are some of the things that George would see when he peeks inside. George got to the door just as the owner opened it. "This is no place for a monkey," she said. But George was so excited, he was already inside. Balls, dolls, bicycles, and games filled the shelves. There were so many toys. George didn't even know how some of them worked. Do you like going to toy stores? I am sure you do. And how about hoops? How about these hoops? What did they do? George was curious. He climbed up to pull one out of the pile. It would not move. George pulled harder. Still, it would not move. George pulled with all fours. Suddenly, there was a terrible crash. Red, blue, green, and yellow hoops bounced up and down and everywhere. "Look!" exclaimed the boy, bouncing up and down himself. "Why, I haven't seen one of these in years," said the boy's grandmother. She put a hoop around her waist and gave it a spin. George tried the hula hoop too. Now can you picture Granny with the hula hoop taking a spin, going round and round? Also, George was having a spin too. Then George pretended to be a wheel. He rolled and oops, he rolled right into the owner. The owner shook her head. "I knew you were trouble," she said. "Now you've made a mess of my new store." Again, she tried to stop George. And again, George was too quick. In only a second, he was around the corner and on the highest shelf. Below him, George saw a little girl point to a toy out of reach. "Mommy, can we get that dinosaur?" she asked. George picked up the dinosaur and lowered it to the girl. She was delighted. So was the small boy next to her. "Could you get that ball for me, please?" he asked George. George reached up, grabbed the ball, and bounced it to the boy. So let's pause a little. Where was George now? Yes, he was at the top of the highest shelf, and he was handing down toys for the children. "May I have that puppet way over there?" asked another girl. How lucky that George was a monkey. He swung off the shelf, hung on to the light, picked up the puppet, and put it right into her hands. "What a show!" shouted a boy. The children held up their new toys and cheered. What a commotion! Okay, let's pause a little. Why was there commotion? What was a commotion? What does the word commotion mean? Okay, it was noisy. The children were shouting, and George was way up. Now, what do you think will happen next? Immediately, the owner came running, and then came the man with the yellow hat. "I think we've had enough monkey business for one day," the owner frowned. Have you ever heard that term, monkey business? Why did he call it monkey business? Well, of course, there was a monkey, but from what we just read, things were out of control. Things were not going well at all there at the toy store. Just then, a girl got in the long line to pay. "What a great store," she said. "What a great idea to have a little monkey helping you," her father told the owner. "I guess you're right," the owner replied and smiled. Then she gave George a special surprise. "Thank you, George," she said. "My grand opening was a success because of you. Perhaps monkey business is the best business after all." The end. Okay, I want you to talk a little bit about monkey business. If your parent is there or your sibling is there, see if you can understand what monkey business meant here in the end. My grand opening is a success because of you. Perhaps monkey business is the best business after all. I have a few questions for you now. Would you say that the story had a good ending? Yes, I would think so too. After all the commotion, the opening at the toy store was a great success. Do you like the character Curious George? Would you like to have him as a pet? I'm sure you would. That would be lots of fun. Now here's something for you to do. I want you to use some of the ideas from this story, and I want you to come up with a story of your own. I can suggest a title for you. Curious George Goes to School. Or if you choose to, you can also come up with your own title. Boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed listening to the story today. My time is up, so until next time, Have fun reading and learning. Bye.